Welcome back to First Take. It was a busy day in the NFL yesterday. Some notable moves. Malik Willis now going to Miami. Former Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III is signing with the Chiefs. Panthers upgrading their defense, and the Niners get their wide receiver number one. Or will he be number one? I guess that's more the question. Damian Woody and Peter Schrager join us now. And now we've had a little bit of time to reflect. We haven't had any major breaking news yet so far today. What was your favorite move you saw go down yesterday? Schrags, why don't you go first?
I thought the Carolina Panthers had an incredible franchise-changing day. They paid two players, Jaenlan Phillips and Devin Lloyd, who are cornerstone pieces at positions that matter. Jaenlan Phillips, an edge rusher in free agency. Very rarely do these players come up. The Eagles thought they had him in line, and the Panthers paid him a boatload of money. And you say, well, they might have overpaid. You don't overpay for an edge rusher that has a market. Devin Lloyd, a culture guy who had that pick six against the Chiefs for the Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Two excellent players and cornerstones for a team that won the division, made the playoffs, and are eventually going to have to pay Bryce Young. I thought Dan Morgan, the general manager, and Brant Tillis, their salary cap guru, did a wonderful job of managing this. Look, it's not going to win the day with headlines. It's not a razzle-dazzle team with the Carolina Panthers. But in an NFC South that is for the taking, I thought the Carolina Panthers got much better than they were yesterday in the hours that led up to last night's ending of the free agent frenzy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Malik Willis. I think, so much about free agency, the unknown about a player's background, because obviously a player is not in the building. Well, you talk about the Miami Dolphins, you talk about a fit that just makes a lot of sense for the Dolphins because the whole regime came from Green Bay. Mm-hmm. You got Jeff Hafley, former defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. He practiced against Malik Willis. He saw him every day in the building. John Eric Sullivan, the GM, obviously came from Green Bay. John Robinson, the former Titans GM, he's now in Miami. He's the one that drafted Malik Willis in Tennessee. And so when you have all this knowledge about a player, it makes you feel a lot better. And the fact that they didn't have to break the bank with Malik Willis. This is all about projection, what they project, because his body of work is so small. But from what we've seen in his small sample size, like, this dude has tremendous upside. Can you imagine him in the backfield with Devon Achane? Like, those two athletic guys? Like, there's a lot of things schematically you can do with both of those guys. And if it doesn't work out, it's not like you hamstrung to the quarterback. You can get off of him after a year or so in that contract. So I really like what Miami did with signing Malik Willis.
A small sample size for us, but obviously that coaching staff has seen him day in and day out. What about you?
I agree with Woody. I'm not disagreeing with Peter because I get Peter's points, and obviously we saw Carolina, have a decent season and give respect to them where they were far more competitive than any of us had anticipated, and the growth of Bryce Young can't be ignored and can't be understated. So I get where Peter's coming from. I'm just thinking about the quarterback position, Peter, and I'm thinking about what Woody just said, and I think that he has a very valid point. In the three starts that Malik Willis had this year, 612 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, not a single interception. We got to pay attention to that. And again, the familiarity with the coaches in Green Bay, that goes a long way as well. Then you talk about the team that he went to. Who did he go to? You went with a team with an explosive running back in Achane. You went to a team with an explosive wide receiver in Waddle. Do they need another wide receiver? Absolutely. Could they use a tight end? Absolutely. Could they use a right guard? Absolutely. But correct me if I'm wrong, Pete. I think they got like 8 draft picks coming up. So they've got the maneuverability. They can utilize the draft to really, really buffer their roster as well. So the key order of the day was to make sure that you had a quarterback, because with everything that we just said, if you don't have a quarterback, there's nothing else that's going to matter for you because you're not going to get it done. Carolina appears as shocking as it is to me because he's so miniature. Bryce Young, he's so miniature. As shocking as it is, he gave them a lot of reason to believe in him going into next season. So having those pieces around him go a long way. Miami didn't have that. They desperately needed a quarterback. And unlike the Pittsburgh Steelers, my Pittsburgh Steelers, they went out and got one in Malik Willis, who I wanted to end up in Pittsburgh.
What I thought was interesting, I thought the Steelers actually had a great day yesterday, and they added a lot of offensive firepower, but who's going to be their quarterback? And like, do they have someone in mind to actually figure out how they're going to –
exactly. Unfortunately, it's the 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and I had somebody out of Pittsburgh just tell me this morning. They said, they just text me this morning. I ain't saying their name because I don't have their permission to do so. But they said to me, keep your eyes on Omar Khan. They said, because they knew I got on them a few weeks ago, and they said, with Tomlin gone, he now gets to make some decisions. I was under the impression that he was making the decision. They're like, nah. Now we get to see what he is going to do. And my response to them was, fine. One of them better be a damn quarterback. Because until I see a quarterback in Pittsburgh, I'm not believing in a damn thing they're selling. Nothing. Sell. I'm telling everybody in Steeler Nation and beyond, don't buy a damn thing they're saying until they show you they have a quarterback that you can look towards the future with. I'm not talking about somebody that's 42 years old that's just going to be there for the next season. I'm talking about until they show you. We've been searching for a quarterback for a half a decade. Until they get you a quarterback, don't buy a damn thing they're selling. It means nothing.
They might do that in the draft.
That's what I'm saying. But now it's become attractive with the moves that they've made so far in free agency. Coming up here on First Take, Dan Orlowski had some
news going down yesterday, Dan. We saw a bunch of quarterbacks sign with new teams. Kyler Murray, though, still out there. What is the market for Kyler right now?
I think the team to watch in all of this right now is the Minnesota Vikings because they want to bring in a veteran to at least compete with J.J. McCarthy, if not start ahead of him. And they're looking at Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, two veterans that were cut from their teams and could be had for minimum salary deals. So if Minnesota were to pick one of them, if they were to say pick Kyler, then I think that would move the market for some of these other quarterbacks. Some guys would find some landing spots. If Minnesota went with Geno Smith, then Kyler would still be looking. That brings into the picture other quarterback-needy teams, like, for instance, the Jets, who might have to wait to see what Minnesota decides before figuring out who they get.
Trey Hendrickson now still waiting to sign on a dotted line somewhere here, Dan. He might top the list of other names who could be on the move. What's the latest with those guys, starting with perhaps the soon-to-be former Bengal?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson has been out looking for a longer-term deal, more than just a one-year deal, at pretty big money, and so far he hasn't found it. Some other edge rushers have found homes, some younger guys. So it may be a situation where Trey Hendrickson has got to alter his demands or his expectations a little bit for a contract. There's still teams out there that could use him. The Bears are still looking for somebody on the edge, but Trey Hendrickson so far asking for more than teams have been willing to give. A.J. Brown still an Eagle as of this morning. There have been teams that have contacted the Eagles about trying to trade for the apparently disgruntled wide receiver, but the Eagles continue to hold firm on their asking price, which the interested teams have decided is too high so far. As of now, it looks like A.J. Brown stays on the Eagles unless somebody comes with a big offer, a first-round pick plus something else of value. And the Steelers didn't do anything at quarterback yesterday, which is yet another indication that they are waiting for and maybe expecting Aaron Rodgers to return to them for the 2026 season. Rodgers made it clear last week on Pat McAfee's show that he has not made any decisions, and he didn't really feel like he was under pressure to make one, but the Steelers seem to be operating like a team that knows who's going to be coming and playing quarterback, and I think it's a matter of time before we get a decision on Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh.
Dan Graziano, do not go far. It is Tuesday. We will